An anxiety diagnosis can help establish a VA disability claim, but an anxiety diagnosis by itself does not determine your VA disability rating. And that's important to understand. Veterans who receive an anxiety diagnosis may immediately begin wondering what disability percentage they may qualify for. But the VA does not simply look at your anxiety diagnosis and assign a rating. The VA looks at the overall impact of that condition. How does it affect your ability to function? How does it affect your work? How does it affect your relationships? How does it affect your daily life? Those questions play a significant role in the evaluation process. Let me give you an example. Imagine two veterans walk into a VA examination. Both veterans have an anxiety diagnosis. On paper, they appear very similar. But once the examiner begins asking questions, important differences start to emerge. The first veteran reports feeling anxious on a regular basis. He worries more than he used to, or she worries more than she used to. He or she occasionally struggles with sleep. He or she sometimes feels stressed in crowded places. But the veteran maintains their relationships. The veteran goes to work. The veteran generally is functioning fairly well in daily life. Now, let's look at the second veteran. This veteran has an anxiety diagnosis as well. But this veteran's anxiety affects their life very differently. They experience panic attacks. This veteran has difficulty concentrating. He or she's sleep is severely disrupted. The veteran becomes overwhelmed in stressful situations. The veteran's relationships have suffered. The veteran is having significant problems functioning at work. Same diagnosis, different impact. And that's exactly why two veterans with the same diagnosis may receive different disability ratings. The diagnosis identifies the condition, but the rating is based on much more than the diagnosis alone. The VA wants to understand the symptoms. How often do the symptoms occur? How severe are the symptoms? And most importantly, how those symptoms affect occupational and social functioning. In plain English, how does the condition affect your ability to function in everyday life? For example, anxiety can make it difficult to concentrate. Difficulty concentrating can affect job performance. Anxiety can interfere with sleep. Poor sleep can affect energy, mood, memory, and productivity. Anxiety can cause someone to avoid social situations, and that avoidance can strain friendships, family relationships, and other important parts of life. These are the kinds of things the VA is trying to understand during the evaluation process. The VA isn't simply checking the box that says anxiety. The VA is looking at the overall picture. What symptoms are present and how severe are those symptoms? And what effect do those symptoms have on the veteran's life? That's why it's important for veterans to understand that a diagnosis is only one piece of the puzzle. The diagnosis matters, but it is not the entire story. The symptoms matter. The functional impact matters. And together, these factors help determine the appropriate evaluation. Now, I'm not suggesting that veterans exaggerate symptoms. Not at all. What I am saying is that veterans should understand what the VA is evaluating. Because when you understand what is being evaluated, you can better understand how the rating process works. The diagnosis identifies the condition. The symptoms help explain the condition. And the functional impairment helps demonstrate the impact of the condition. If there's one thing I want you to take away from this video, it's this. An anxiety diagnosis is important, but the diagnosis alone does not determine the rating. The VA is looking beyond the diagnosis. The VA is looking at how that condition affects your work, your relationships, and your daily functioning. And understanding that distinction can help veterans better understand the VA disability process. If you found this video helpful, hit the thumbs up and subscribe. See you in the next video. Veterans helping veterans.